What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% Chelsea and welcome to a little video which I think we need to address, and we want to give our thoughts on Keith Rodney, or to give him his full name, Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Yes. There is another bit, but I can't remember what it is. Wikipedia will tell us.
Yeah, the current manager of Chelsea Football Club, by the looks of things.
Or the one that plays for Tessa for the next 2 years.
Or I think he's already named a squad for the upcoming Spurs game, to be honest.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's himself, times 11.
I'm actually still shocked about what happened yesterday.
I'm not. I'm more shocked at people's reactions, to be honest. For not the most part, because the majority of fans seem to be level-headed, and those other involved. But for some people,
Are you saying shit about Cameron?
No, not Cameron. No, he's not. He's not what I'm on about. I'm on about the pundits and the professionals in the game. I will not name them because I don't think it's right. And
also
some
because
fans,
we want to have a job in the future.
And some fans that have taken, I'm not saying it's a small situation, but taken a situation that it can be misconstrued in one way and can be misconstrued in another.
Yeah.
But they've taken a situation that is not a massive deal, or is not a massive deal in the sense of it can be easily fixed, and blown it completely out of proportion to the point of which I've seen people say that he should be sacked, should never play for us again. He doesn't deserve to wear a Chelsea shirt, stuff like that. I think that's
stuff like that, which I find shocking.
This is the same fan base or they may be the same fans that didn't condemn Sarri for what he did at Guardiola after the 6-0. It's exactly the same thing. It's a lack of respect. Didn't condemn Alonso when he walked off the pitch, head down, not clapping the fans in that 6-0. Lack of respect. Haven't condemned other players for other acts of disrespect in other games. It'd be the same fans that come out and slate Kepa for that, slate Willian for I don't think what they did is right, but slate Willian for the thing.
I slated Willian yesterday.
Will slate Dave for his role in all of it, which I think is minimal, to be honest.
I mean, we've got a whole other video coming on.
But I think that's what annoys me. I think it was disrespectful. I think it was wrong. But I think to say he should never play for us again when he's 23, 24, and he's got a big future ahead of us.
He signed a 7-year deal.
And he is a good keeper.
Yeah.
I think to say he should be sacked, never play for us again, I think is just completely unacceptable.
Well, I mean, if you're going to look at it logically, who are you going to go and get? If anyone says Gianluigi Donnarumma or like these up and coming keepers, which are massive, which we're going to have no chance of getting given our transfer budget. Oh, and by the way, we have a transfer ban pretty much pending. It's kind of the case of who's out there. I mean, I think I disagree with his actions. I think it was. I think for a start, saying it's a misunderstanding, and I said it yesterday, I'll say it again today because it's not changed from what I've read. It's a massive publicity stunt from Sarri and from Kepa. Saying I was a misunderstanding. I wanted to organise it properly. Blah blah blah. If you wanted to do that, you walk to the sideline and you speak to Sarri.
I think there is a misunderstanding to a point, but not between Sarri and Kepa. I think it's a whole team problem, if that makes sense.
Well, if you look at the pictures from the game, and you look at the team, the bonding, I guess you could say, before the penalty shootout. When City were all in a circle, and when we were in the penalty shootout, their subs were stood arm in arm on the sidelines. Our lot were just all over the place. Picking the team, they weren't everywhere. They weren't together. They weren't there as a unit. And you can say it's a small thing, but from a psychological perspective and a social perspective, it's quite big. Little things have big impacts. That's life, and I think that was a big impact. And then on top of that as well, I feel that there is a bigger issue at Chelsea. And I know people can say player power is not a big thing. It is something which has been blown out of proportion. There is no doubt about that. It is something, however, that needs to be discussed because of the way it's been handled and the way it's going forward. The fact that there is going to be no punishment from the club, when Sarri was about to walk down the tunnel and the commentator blew it out of proportion after I watched the highlights saying, could he be walking out of the job with this? Yeah, it's blown out of proportion, but at the same time, would I blame Sarri for walking away right now? No. Because Chelsea have a history of player power. And look, you need to respect the manager irrespective of what's going on. When John Terry was sitting there going, I'd have walked on and pulled him off, Too fucking right. I would have done as well.
I'd say if there's one player or one pundit or one person you should look at as to the comments that was made as to how to handle it. Look at John Terry's interview after the game. I can't remember who it was with. It was in the dressing room afterwards, after everyone had left. That is how you handle the situation in terms of how you speak about it, the wording being used, your conduct when talking about it. You don't react in a poor way, and I think, as you said, I think his comments are right. I think to an extent, that's why I said this sort of whole squad thing. I think that one of the players, no matter who it is, should. I know it's David Luiz seemed to be the intermediary.
I mean, no, there was no intermediary there. David Luiz, the way his body language to me was saying, "Yeah, you do what you want, mate." But I mean, legally, I think legally, Kepa didn't have to leave the field of play. However, as a sign of respect to your coach, you should leave the field of play. He had a pre-existing hamstring injury. The doctors go on the pitch once, check for cramp, and they come back off. He goes back down again. He went down twice, for people that forget, twice. And this is the point where if you're any sane person on the touchline, manager, doctor, whatever, you go, yeah, take him off.
I think this is another thing. I think that with this whole, because we've seen other instances, not necessarily with this similar type of injury, but other instances of this happening to players. One I can remember come off the top of my head is Lloris. I can't remember what year it was. It was just before the concussion, all that law came in.
Yeah, with the Andre Esparza, the manager.
Was he? I don't remember. We had that. That took a lot longer than Kepa. Both of Kepa's injuries combined. He went off the pitch. There was a lot of talk about what was going to happen, what was going to happen, and he carried on because he said he was okay. But the relay back to Andre Esparza was a lot better. It was a lot clearer, and I think that's the thing. I think that you can talk about what could have been done, but from my point of view, I think something that could have been done is, so he goes down, he's obviously injured. The first thing you do is, you, as a manager or as a player on the pitch or whatever, is you find out, can he carry on? You talk to him, or say you're a player or you're one of the medical staff, you talk to him, can you carry on, yes or no? I just need a yes or no answer. If his answer is yes, you leave it, you say to Sarri he's alright to carry on. If he says no, you say to Sarri that he's not good to carry on.
But what if he says he is good to carry on? In the Lloris example, the doctor said he wasn't good to carry on, but he carried on anyway.
That's a little bit different because it was head injury.
Yeah, no, I know, but the point I'm making is he could literally, for pride's sake, which for me it was yesterday, say I'm okay to carry on, and they go, okay, he's fine. If he's not okay, which he clearly wasn't, he needs to come off the pitch. If you, like I said yesterday, if you're staying on to be the hero, you be the fucking hero. If he'd saved those penalties and we'd won it, we wouldn't be having this conversation, granted. However, we're having this conversation because you had a seasoned penalty stopper. Pablo Zabaleta was sitting in the Sky Sports studio. The City team were actually scared for Willy Caballero to come on because he knows how they take their penalties. He's a seasoned penalty saver. It's what he does. And it was an incredibly smart decision from Sarri. Now, me and you are both very vocal in our how we feel about Sarri. I'm not Sarri out, I know you are, but it's kind of a case of yesterday everything was going perfect, and the problem is now, because of a lack of respect from a player on the pitch, to basically disobey direct orders from your manager, whether it's head coach, manager, whatever, he's in charge. It really shows there's a bigger issue at Chelsea, and it ruined for me what was an amazing display. I was incredibly proud of the team, and every Chelsea fan is, and every Chelsea fan's going to be talking about how good we were today. No one else is.
No.
Everyone's talking about Kepa because he was arrogant and selfish.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, like there was disrespect, as I said, towards Sarri, but the biggest thing for me was the disrespect to Caballero.
Yes.
Whatever happened at the end of that game, he should have walked up to Caballero, took him to the side, and spoke to him about that. Yeah. That's what you. I don't care what's going on. As a human being, don't matter what profession you're in, don't matter what you're doing. You speak to if that's happened, you speak to someone, especially because myself and Sam were here. Unfortunately, due to money issues, I wasn't able to go. I was looking on the TV. The cameras went to Caballero as he was at the entrance to the tunnel with one of the. I don't think it was a member of staff. I think it was one of the stewards or something, or not a steward, an official. Sorry, and he was genuinely like he was close to tears. That's possibly the last chance he's ever going to have playing for our club, playing in a League Cup final, and based on his age, probably the last chance he's ever going to get playing in a final. And he was denied it because of a player being selfish, and the player didn't even talk to him afterwards. That's the biggest issue I have with Kepa. As a human being, you speak to someone like that.
It's the wink that happened at 120 minutes.
Oh, Jesus.
That's arrogant and egotistical. After what he did, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, you're alright. Come on, mate. It's disappointing because, like I say, I don't exactly want to be sitting here talking about it. But unfortunately, as it's kind of our jobs to talk about it, then we've got to do it. And to be honest, it really overshadows again what was an amazing performance. And it really is something which it's annoying. If anything, it's an unnecessary event which didn't need to happen. Yet we're sat here having to talk about it because of his ignorance. I mean, we'll get up his comments here now. If I can get up his Twitter, here we go. So Kepa said after the game, for those of you that don't know, he said, "Upset and sad for not being able to take the title. We fought until the end against a great team. We'll continue working to be stronger." Does not sound like a PR thing at all. It's not like someone from Chelsea wrote that for you by the looks of things. I would also like to clarify some facts about today's match. First of all, I regret how the end of the match has been portrayed. At no time has it been my intention to disobey the coach or any of his decisions. I think everything has been misunderstood in the heat of the final part of the match for a title. The coach thought I was not in a position to play on, and my intention was to express that I was in good condition to continue helping the team. While the doctors had treated me this grammar is awful. While the doctor that had treated me arrived on the bench to give me the message. I feel the image has been portrayed was not my intention. I have full respect for the coach and his authority. Bullshit. If you did, you'd have walked off the pitch. That was written by someone at Chelsea's PR team. No way is he written that. Because if he did, guess what? He would have given an interview and said it. Even then, he'd have raised questions about whether it's PR or not. But he would have stood there and said, "Look, it's on me," and he hasn't done that. So this again is something that's been badly handled by Chelsea and by the player. I understand Sarri's approach. I understand why he's protecting a player because he wants to have a good relationship with him. But you shouldn't have a good relationship just for the sake of it. And laundry should be dried, aired. Dirty laundry should be aired out in the open. I get that. But the questions were there. And because Kepa aired his dirty laundry in the open, it opened up the possibility for what was a much more prominent. Will ruin the game basically. It was a forget. Let's be honest. It was a forgettable 0-0 until that happened.
No, I don't think it was. But I think this has overshadowed it. It was a good game with a lot to talk about in terms of positives from each side, but this has overshadowed it.
But it's not going to be a final which you're going to remember for years. Let's be honest. It was a 0-0 where everyone contained each other well. Both teams played well, and then that happened. And then, there's no point in saying Caballero would have saved it, or his guy it was definitely going to happen, because it's all ifs and buts. Ifs and buts are redundant points. But for me, at the end of the day, look, Kepa dealt with that wrong. I'm not going to say drop him, because, to be honest, I think with games like Tottenham coming up and the state we're in this season, we can't do it, which is again, player power is an issue, but the way that Chelsea operate, they won't do it because of the results that are needed. You could, like you said earlier, before, you could argue it. You could drop him against Fulham. I still probably wouldn't. He does need some telling off though.
Yeah.
And whether or not we are going to see something from that, even though the club are saying they're not going to do it, if they do something.
To be fair, I think that's the right response in terms of, because I think, as you said, this, not all of this, but I think that this can be. You can put this back all the way to when Sarri came out in the press conference and criticised players after Arsenal, I believe. I think even from then, that's probably not the best way to go about it. It's been seen in the past, even this season, in other instances, i.e. Gerrard at Rangers, a couple of others I can't quite remember, that can have an effect. But I think for the most part, it's something you shouldn't do. And we've seen more examples from players, from Sarri himself, and this. But yeah, I think that the club went about it in the right way in what they've said, and it now should be handled behind closed doors and should be spoken about as a team like that.
Yeah, I think the other thing is though you can see there's a bit of a cut in between the team. You can tell it doesn't like Sarri. You really can. Like honestly, you could see players patting Kepa on the back, Alonso, Cahill. There was a few which were like, oh, it's alright, mate. And again, you know, Cahill as a leader should be. I'm actually quite surprised. I understand why he may be pissed off because he's been shoved in the reserves, and I completely agree with him. For him, if he doesn't like him, I'd be in the same position. But I'm sorry that it hurts because you just know what's going to happen, and it's a fact that, you know, if you look at the biggest successful clubs, the managers have absolute power. Look at Fergie. If someone didn't like him in the press room, right, I want him out. And Sarri is that type of manager. You look at when he gets angry on the sidelines. I liked what I saw from him.
So did I. To be fair, I say the past couple of games, that and Malmo,
Yeah.
I like what I saw on the touchline. He looked like he cared. He's looked like he gives a damn. Like when it happened, if that was early in the season, I could see him not caring, but
Not reacting in the same way.
But the way he reacted up was nice to see. It's reminiscent of Conte last season, and the season before.
And I think the other thing for me was Zola should have been a lot more vocal instead of going, come on, man. So I could genuinely have seen Sarri walking onto that pitch if he wouldn't have got a yellow. But obviously, if you enter the field of play as a manager, you get a red straight away, don't you? You can't enter the field of play.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he'd have got sent to the stands. But to be fair, would it have mattered at that point?
Penalty shootout, yeah. 100%.
Do you not think Zola could have motivated the players for that penalty shootout?
I wouldn't want to put Zola in that position.
That's fair enough.
I don't think that it would have been fair on him or Sarri or the players. But to be honest, I think Moss would have been a bit more lenient on it, he probably would have booked Sarri. I would if it was me, I would have marched on and taken the red card or the booking, because I just find it embarrassing. It was embarrassing, and irrespective, some people might be sitting there saying it was a misunderstanding. That's fine. It's just something that's been blown out of proportion. That's fine. For me, it was seeing the deeper rooted issue, and you know, I don't agree with it, just from a professional standpoint as well, because obviously, as people who run a business, you have to be professional in any sense. We have to do it. They have to do it. If you work at an office, you have to. If you work in a bakery, if you work in lorries, you have to have a certain level of professionalism and pride in your job. And part of that pride is working alongside the people you're around, the manager or whatever, irrespective of whether you get on with them or not. If you can avoid them, avoid them. But in this scenario, they can't avoid it.
No.
He's your manager. He's your handler. So work alongside him and have the conversations. But if you can't have those conversations, that is going to cause a more deep-rooted issue in the future. And for me, you know, it's been an issue at Chelsea for a while. Like I said, with the likes of Lampard, Terry, Drogba, Cech, Cole, player power was there. But the thing is, because it was a spine of that team that won trophies, and they wanted what's best for the club rather than what was best for themselves, which is how it feels for me. It's kind of a case of you could let it slide more, but now it just doesn't feel. It feels like the soul disappeared. That minute again, after such like I keep saying, after such an amazing fight, Callum Hudson-Odoi coming on, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, you know, these amazing young talents which we've been calling for ages. Emerson starting as well, which everyone's been calling for, playing so well.
Even Jorginho putting in a quality performance.
And that you just go. That's just an example of player power. You just sit there and go, you know what, like, irrespective of how good the performance was today, I was sat there in my head going, you're out there for you. It doesn't feel like you care about us, and it hurts. Like I think that's why everyone was so hurt after the cup final, because it was so good, and it was stuff like that which overarched it. And I think subconsciously that's what people were thinking about. I was just gutted because it was penalties, but now the more I think about it, the more I realise that subconsciously I was thinking about, fucking hell, only if. But yeah, that's my 10 cents on it. What about you?
I think I said all I needed to say on the matter at the start. I think, yeah, it is annoying, but I think that some of the comments that have been made have taken it, have blown it way out of proportion. I think it are unacceptable, to be honest. Yeah, it was disrespectful. Yes, it undermined the manager. Yes, it shouldn't have been done. But to say that he should never play for the club, I think
that's too emotive, and I think we need to rewind it a bit.
Yeah.
Be very careful. I know. This is someone lecturing people on how to not. They shouldn't be.
Have your opinion, obviously, but
have your opinion. But I know it's a bit rich coming from me saying be less emotive about football.
Be sensible with it, I suppose, is the best word I can use. I don't have a better word to use.
Be logical, sensible, and emotion. You need to find the right balance, and I feel like I've found the right balance now. I think looking at that Kepa thing, I would handle it if post match. Safe to say, I would have done what Sarri did, but as well as doing it in the dressing room, I'd have thrown a boot at his head. I would have done, and said, "You have done X, Y, and Z." But unfortunately, because you're at Chelsea, sorry, I couldn't do that because the players just turn around and go, "I don't want to play for you." The board will go, "Don't want to play for you, mate. Sorry," and get rid of him. There's a lot of team players in that squad where if I was the Chelsea board, I'd say we just need to get rid of him. I'd take tuppence for some of them just to make sure we can get a bit of squad harmony and then redevelop in the window, because we have to. There has to be a step to kind of rebuild this team. If you look at how the spine was created, Mourinho came in to John Terry and said, "Do you lot think you're good players?" They go, "Yeah." Here he goes, "You haven't won anything," and the mentality was there to win, be hungry, and build. Whereas now we don't seem to have that, and it's just how football's going, and it's depressing.
Yeah.
But c'est la vie. Got to handle it and move on with how it goes. But listen, guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. All social media stands on Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as Scott's socials and mine. Leave us your thoughts down below, and we'll speak to you later. Ta-ra.